Alright, looks like we're live. So, welcome to Bangai-O. For those unfamiliar, it is a Dreamcast, well, very puzzly-y shmup. And I'll explain how the strange mechanics of it all work as I go. So here we are, the first level. That's where we start time, right when we gain control. So, this is a game that, unlike most shmups, actually has a fair bit of pathing in the levels, making it you know, a little more speedrunnable than a lot of the others. So a lot of how you have to do this game when trying to speedrun it is worrying about lag reduction, because you have giant amounts of missiles all the time, everywhere. And trying to minimize those and the lag they cause is a fair bit of the speedrun. But there are many points in the game where making the most amount of missiles is actually the right move, because you actually need that many. So, it's a individual level sort of game, so what happens in one level doesn't affect what happens in other levels. There's no power-ups or anything like that to collect. You always start with 2 supers at the beginning of any level. You gain more supers into your super meter by just stuff blowing up near you. Whether you did it or somebody else did it, doesn't matter. As long as it blows up near you, it fills your super meter. And besides that, it moves like a twin-stick shmup. The controls are very similar to Super Smash TV, except for the controls that switch between the 2 firing modes, which are the homing missiles, which I had open there, and the bouncing lasers, which I just switched to. So, there are 44 levels, which is quite a few, one of the reasons why the run's so long, and a ton of enemies to kill. And yes, indeed, Bangai-O is the game where you are the bullet hell. So, another of the fun things about how all the firing and mechanics work in it is that all shots, at least of normal types of shots, deflect each other. So if you hit an enemy missile, it deflects it. And another thing about the movement that's a little weird is there actually is a dashing mechanic. Nice, I actually got that about perfect. That'll be a good kill. Quite too soon. Okay. So, there is lots and lots of explosions all the time, everywhere, because that's just how Bangai-O rolls. So yeah, these next 2 levels are really simple. 5 and 6 are probably the simplest levels in the run. In every level, the objective is to kill a boss at the end of the level. However, the boss might be one of those little round green spheres, which are completely defenseless and only there to basically, you know, sort of symbolize the level end. The only thing you have to do to get through any given level is kill the boss. But the levels are designed so that is not always the easiest thing to do. But that is the objective in any given level. That's what triggers the end of a level. Killing the boss at the end. Whatever the boss might be. And the boss might be a large ship like that, or it might be the little green sphere, or it might be a boss that is about the same size as you. The ones that are the same size as you are actually usually the tough ones. You are right, AB, on the run. Shit does get real around 20, although actually 8 is remarkably difficult as well, and 14. Those are the levels that are tough in the earliest parts of the run. And then about 20, almost all of the levels are difficult. This one's actually difficult from a speedrun perspective. He's executing it perfectly for the fastest time is actually somewhat difficult. It's not a hard level casually, but it's got moderately difficult speedrun execution. Yes, Treasure was indeed formed by Konami employees. And they actually brought some of those Konami employees back to make Gradius 5. If you're not aware, Treasure, which is the company that made this game, actually also made Gradius 5. Because Konami asked their old employees, literally, to help them make a Gradius game. Yeah, if you haven't figured it out, shmups are kind of my thing. And when looking for a game to start learning how to speedrun, this is my first real speedrun game. I looked for a game that, well, was a shmup sort of game that you could actually speedrun well. Had fun pathing, and lots of fun stuff going on. And, well, this is the one I came to. So, yeah, like I said, this is actually the first really hard boss. Not that you can necessarily tell by the way I do it, but what makes the boss so difficult is that those bouncing lasers have a really trolly hitbox. They hit you considerably before it appears that they would. Yep, Bangai-O on N64 is a somewhat similar game, but the system works very different. Specifically, the system of where you like how you get supers and how your supers work, and a lot of the other little system stuff was tweaked a lot for the Dreamcast version. I actually really like the Dreamcast version a ton better, but the N64 version is not a bad game. It only suffers from the fact that the Dreamcast version, which is superior, exists. Yeah, most of those people at Konami that had a passion for games development, well, they work for Treasure now. And still, because Treasure is still a company that's still around. They don't make that many games, but occasionally they release one and they're always awesome. Treasure is probably the only company I'm a real fanboy of all the companies that I play games from. But yeah, this game has a lot of levels, there's a lot of different and varied things. A lot of the levels are much more puzzly like this one, yet some of them are more about the boss battle. This one, there is no real boss battle, it's one of those green core bosses, but it is pretty puzzly to get through, especially trying to get through it fast. Yes, pachinko is extremely profitable, and that's how Konami's really making its money, but yeah. They pretty much are. It's a pachinko machine, not a slot machine, but they kind of are a slot machine-based company in a way. Because pachinko is kind of like a slot machine for those unfamiliar. Anyway, so this is the first level that has some major speed tech in it, and some major not speed tech. Because that is completely and absolutely unnecessary, but it is a tradition. It's fun, it's swag, and it's tradition, and I do it every time I do the run. It's completely unnecessary, and it loses time. However, if you aren't having fun, why are you playing games? Anyway, the other major part of speed tech in this level is actually a skip of the intended level route. Now, how you get that skip, and I'm going to come to it very shortly. See those purple blocks down there? We try, and it's somewhat RNG whether it's possible, and it looks bad. Oh, it looks bad. Yep, not going to get it. But the objective is to get below those green blocks, and so not have to open them the way I just did. That actually does cost me about 12 seconds, but that's fine. It's a marathon. Not everything has to be perfect. But yeah, like I said, the skip is somewhat RNG, and you can force it with a frame-perfect attack, but that's actually slower than getting it via RNG. And that would probably be about the point I'd be resetting if this was a real attempt, but that's okay. I don't know, the rest of the pace has been pretty good. I might stick it out. So yeah, this one's a pretty simple little pathing level. It does have an actual boss, not a green sphere at the end, but it is not a difficult boss. A lot of the bosses in this game are not difficult. In fact, pretty much any boss except one that is not like a little robot the same size as you is not difficult. The ones that are difficult are ones that are the little robots the same size as you. All of the larger bosses, except for the one in 33, and well, we'll talk about him when we get there, are pretty much the same and easy. Yeah, saving the animals is kind of fun, and the runners never do it unless it's a marathon like this, and they get forced to. So yeah, this level's kind of amusing, because at this point in the level, I have already determined the fastest that I can complete the level. Because the main thing that determines how fast you complete this level is how fast you set off that fourth bomb trail and whether you set off the 3 before it. See that bomb trail that's going along the bottom? Pretty much I'm stuck to waiting for it here, and there's no other way to go faster that can get through it or anything. Now, this is the second actual difficult boss in the game. I do have a strat for it. It is not completely consistent, but it's pretty good. It almost never will kill me with the strat, but I might not get it as fast as I like. And, well, we'll talk about that and see how it goes. So, having to do that is a little bit slow, but forced effectively. So, he has indeed violated my strat. Because the strat, if you want him to actually go fast, involves killing him within that corridor, and therefore not causing the massive amount of lag that the sort of attacks that this guy with the homing missiles has to cause. And actually kill him with the bouncing lasers. So that was actually a pretty slow kill, even if it didn't look like it. I'll be honest when it's not necessarily going west. And yes, this hits bitrate hell. I actually stream at a much higher bitrate on my own stream. And I know that the stream probably doesn't look that great when it does that on this, because I'm streaming at a bit of a low bitrate. When I stream this, I actually stream at extremely high bit rates on my own stream, so it doesn't do that, but that's how it goes. And yeah, that level, there's nothing to talk about. That's all it is. Run up, kill the boss immediately. This one is actually probably my favorite single level to do in the game, because there's a lot of just pure raw execution. It doesn't have a difficult boss. In fact, it doesn't really have a boss. It's one of those green spheres. But it's got just a lot of little tiny speed tech all the way through the level. And other than the mild RNG of some enemy movements, it's got almost no RNG in it. It's pretty much just entirely execution of getting through all these little puzzles as quickly as possible. In the casual play of this game, it's considered a puzzle level. It's pretty much solving various little puzzles to get through. But in the speedrun of this game, that just makes it a really long technical level. And I love that. So another thing you may have noticed about this game is that damage in this game is a little weird. Unlike most shmups, you do have a life bar, you know, just like the last thing you watched. Shout out to Unicorn Sid, by the way. Good friend, heck of a streamer. But even though you have a life bar, there is no iframes in this game. When you take damage, you get knocked back, and there are no iframes, which means, especially against the bosses, which throw out massive amounts of missiles at once, you easily can die in one hit, even though there's a life bar. But yeah, that's always one of my favorite levels to do. Thanks, Sid. I appreciate it. But yeah, this one and the next one are also levels a lot like the last one that are just raw execution of strats, pretty much. Almost no RNG, just a lot of good raw execution. Because they don't have bosses, and the bosses are usually the biggest RNG. But yeah, this game, there's almost always a ton of stuff going on, lots of stuff exploding, and a lot more tech than it even appears, because the movement is really interesting. Whoops, we actually managed to die. And yes, that's the quickest way, even if you manage to die, to get out of a level. Yep, I took that one a little bit riskier than I should have. I should have picked up the backup health. In a real run, I'm always going to just risk it and go in case it dies, but hey, that happens. So, when you die in this game, as you see, you have to redo the entire level. There are no level checkpoints, but that's all it costs you. There is no power-ups or anything to worry about, but you do have to redo the entire level. So, it's almost good that I died on a somewhat shorter level, so I can actually show that off to you and how it works. There is no real story mode, but there are actually story bits which I have turned off in this game. And the story bits in this game are hilarious, by the way. If you have not experienced it, there's generally 2 conversations per level. One when you go over the little circle with an M in it, and one when you approach the boss, whatever the boss is. And they're absolutely hilarious. Yeah, Bangai-O Spirits and the Level Maker is fun. I actually really like Spirits, but I'm not a huge fan of HD Missile Fury. It's okay, but its main problem is that the other games are better, you know? That was actually really good for that level. About perfect, in fact. But yeah, as the 3-2 says, the conversations in this are just absolutely amazing. Yeah, Missile Fury, it's more like Spirits than it is like this. It's kind of like an advanced version of Spirits in a way. But yeah, it took more from Spirits than it did from the original. And it's an Xbox 360 download-only title. Hey, we actually almost got the good RNG and almost killed the boss with our invincibility power-up. So yeah, there's an invincibility power-up which makes you do a lot of damage to whatever's around you, and that's what I picked up at the beginning of that level. And to get the good RNG in 19, which is based around the boss's movement, you actually kill the boss entirely while within that invincibility power-up and don't have to actually fire at all. This is yet another just pure execution level, good pathing. It's not that long, but it actually is surprisingly difficult, especially from a casual standpoint. Even though it looks pretty easy when I do it, it is a pretty difficult level. And that was a little bit slow because I missed the cycle, but not incredibly so. That was like, you know, a second slow. You can tell by the where the fire bars are at the end how fast you are on that one really well. But this is actually a very good game to play casually, although learning the mechanics of it is somewhat difficult. The other difficult thing about speedrunning this, even though it's not obvious, there is a dashing mechanic. It takes a double tap on the controller, and I am constantly dashing around and switching my dash almost the entire time I'm playing the game, which is actually hard on the hands. Much like playing like Battletoads or something. In fact, it's very similar in the mechanics to the Battletoads dashing mechanic. And yes, this is one heck of a treasure game. It's the dialogue is intentionally so bad it's good, with intentional bad English. Seriously. In fact, they ramped up the bad English in the American version of it, because it was kind of a trope and they thought it was funny. It is a very, very treasure game, and a very, very treasure idea. So yeah, this one can be really trolly. It wasn't, but it can be, because all those bots that I went and killed, you have to kill all the little green and yellow bots that you see at the bottom. Well, this is a game that I have played a heck of a lot, and I played it way too much in some, kind of dark times in my life, and it kept me sane, literally. So to answer your question, Kurt Rocket Runner, well, that's why. And besides that, I also love shmups, and it's one of the few shmups you can speedrun really well. So yeah, this level, lots of ridiculous lag, and we'll see even more ridiculous lag very soon. There's a ton of ridiculous lag in this game, and like I said, a lot of how you do this game is lag reduction. Yeah, speaking of other people running this game, at the moment no one does. I'd love that to change, so if you want any information about running this game, I've actually made a somewhat beta take of a tutorial, and besides that, I'm more than glad to answer any questions anyone may have about trying to run this game, because it is one of my big goals to get somebody else running this game. It's a heck of a lot of fun, and like I said, if you like shmups and you actually want to do a shmup that you can speedrun, well, there is, in my opinion, almost no better choice, with the single possible exception of Super Smash TV. Whoops, went the wrong way. Oh well. I actually mispathed this level. It's going to take an extra about 10 seconds more than it does normally, because I wasn't supposed to go below that door and get stuck in here. It's okay, this way is actually safer, but for those who've watched my runs, you know that was actually a mispath. At least my recent runs. This is actually the old way I used to do it, but there's a bit of a newer way that's about 12 to 15 seconds quicker if done perfectly. But this way is mildly safer because it refills your supers better. akerasi. You get to hear the annoying alarms when you're low on health, but that's the end, so it's not really dangerous. Although I did run out of supers, so this kill is going to be a little slow, but yeah. I don't expect a marathon run to be perfect. But yeah, going pretty well so far. Now, this one's kind of fun. I actually use an audio cue to get this kill perfectly. It's the only audio cue I use in the game. It's very convenient because it's right when the music changes. Whoops, I didn't quite get it. Sometimes when he does the 3 attacks like that, you don't quite get it, which happens. That's okay, though. I actually did get the audio cue, but him releasing the 3rd attack is RNG. What you're actually doing with the audio cue is forcing the 2nd attack. Whoops, and I probably screwed it up again. Yep, totally did. That's okay, it happens. That was actually me screwing it up, rather than it being RNG. First one was RNG, that one was my bad. Maybe I'm a little rattled by the way the first one went. Hey, Bellyaz, nice to see you. There we go. And now you pull far enough away to do this attack, which is a light attack, but the objective is to force out that. And that's how this level is actually supposed to look. If only we got that the first time, right? But yeah, that's how that level is actually supposed to look. That was actually perfect, except for the fact that we failed it twice first. Yep, even this game is pretty much a collection of levels for score or time attack. That's kind of how the game was built. So yeah, this boss can be really trolly because he can soft lock himself. He's kind of trying to, but I'm kind of moving away from him to, yep. Oh, and we actually got him with the 2nd attack and finished the lag. That was very good. That would have been a really good kill in a run. You know, in an actual attempt, I mean. Because this is far from an attempt at this point. And this is yet another fun little pathing level. Actually uses the, invincibility power-up in a fun way. And doing this little trick. So, see those little green squares? You cannot shoot through them, but the enemy can. And the little blue squares you can only shoot through with your homing missiles, not with your bouncing lasers. Why is it made like that? Don't know. So if you don't go through that the fast way, and you can effectively lock yourself out of that door with those indestructible blocks, it's really, really slow, to the point where resetting the level is faster than finishing the level in the intended way. But that's the fast way to do that level. That went about perfectly. Anyway, this one's another one a lot like 26, except without the soft lock potential and with a lot more dying potential. Where it's trolly, it's got a trolly boss, there's a lot of, a lot of fire going around, both from the boss and random enemies and the like. So just lots of crazy explosions. Actually, I'm switching the pilot. Oh, you mean of an enemy ship? Yeah, there aren't that many that are different. The level 19 one is different. Fun fact, the level 19 one's actually the end boss. And that one's different, but a lot of the times it's the same guy and they actually make jokes based on that, which is Sabu. It's the guy through most of them. So, this is the level in the game that I hate the most. I love almost the entire game, but from a speedrun perspective, this is the level that I wish did not exist. Because you have to kill every mobile bot that started in the level to open the doors. Note I said that started, and ones that are generated don't count towards that, but there's no way to identify them. So let's see if we got the first door yet. Oh, we did. Good. We got lucky and actually got the first door. The first and the... Well, actually, the second door. The second and the fourth doors are really trolly. The third door and the first door are pretty easy. But yeah, this level, it's common to have, like, sometimes even 20, 30 seconds of time loss in this level. Sometimes even a minute or two. just a single level. It's that variable because of the way it's designed. Okay, it opened. Good. So that's the last of the troll doors, and we're pretty much through. There's a, you know, little bit of stuff to force my way through, but that's through the trolley part, and it was not that trolly. A little bit medium trolly, mostly for the second door. But that is the trolliest level in the game, and it's not necessarily the most difficult from a speedrun perspective, but it is the one that will probably waste the most of your time. This one's always fun. Is this one? You have to blow up a lot of stuff. Because all these little bomb trails, they're all required. You have to kill every last little bomb trail. It's the only way to get through the level. As you notice, I'm usually killing the generators that are on the doors. If you hadn't figured it out yet, those little, you know, things are enemy generators, or, you know, they can generate anything in this game, really, the generators. It's kind of fun that way. They don't necessarily have to generate enemies, they can generate missile turrets, even power-ups, whatever. The generators generate whatever they generate. We're a little low on supers, but that's okay, I was being careful with it. So the boss kill is going to be a little slow because we got less supers than we want. But yeah, you need to kill all those little bomb trails, otherwise you have unbreakable things that you can't kill, but the bombs can kill, that make it so you can't get here, and that's, you know, one of those little green spheres at the end boss. But yeah, in the end that was actually moderately fast, but not as fast as it can be. And here's one that, this one is really deceptive if you don't know what you're doing. If you know how to do it and you know the strat, it's actually a pretty easy pathing level. But if you don't know what you're doing, it's really easy to do things like run out of supers and die. But I've done it a billion times, so when I do it, it looks super easy. I'm just flying. Kill a few things. Oh no, I took a little damage from a bomb. Now I'm flying this way. And you have to know how to dash through the lasers too. It's a bit of a tech trick. Basically fire at a 45-degree angle against them. And you have to be dashing. If you're not dashing, they'll hit you. So yeah, this level I nicknamed Lag City because, well, it causes more lag than any other level in the game, and with this game, that says a lot. When you start this level, there is literally an item, which might be a bomb or a brick or an enemy, in every single possible square if you look at the level map. And you can actually look at the level maps after you've completed the level, which is kind of a fun experience to do if you are trying to learn and understand this game. But yeah, the boss isn't that tough. The toughest part of this level is lag reduction. That was actually really fast for this level. It's not always that obvious, but that was actually really, really fast. So, this is level 33. It has the most unique boss in the game. You cannot hit it when its shield is up, except that you sort of can. The way to hit it with its shield up is to do a super when you are within its sprite. Yes, within its sprite. You can clip into it a little bit. But you can also do a ton of damage when it does drop its shield, which is kind of rarely. So this is slow. You can get a one cycle. It's possible. I've done it a decent amount of times. But I'm getting decent damage. Yep, it's probably dead. Yep. Good. Through. It's only a 2 cycle. 2 cycles pretty good. This one is a pure execution level and not really pathing, because the pathing is simple. Go down. Just keep going down. There's a long way to go down, and a lot of things trying to prevent you from doing so, and that was a little bit of a mispath. Otherwise I wouldn't have taken that damage. But we can get back some health with that. Yeah, really causing a lot of explosions, which includes causing them by firing into a fire bar like that. That is one of the ways you can generate health power-ups in this game, and that is sometimes a useful thing, especially casually, but even in a speed run. Because we're being careful, I'm going to go take the extra safety health. Yep, and once you get to the bottom, here we are. Yet another core to kill. This one takes a lot of damage. If you didn't notice, the cores actually do take, variable amounts of damage. It's different for every level. It's consistent for each single level, but they're very different amounts per level. Some of them take a ton of damage, some of them will die very quickly. And this one is yet another straightforward sort of pathing, but really just execution and timing sort of level. Knowing how to execute it exactly is not that difficult. It isn't that difficult of a level. And that's all there is to that one. Yes, the last levels, Shiner, are a ton longer. The late levels are much longer than the early levels in this game. Plus, my personal best for this game is down to, say, 4220, I believe. Oops, that was actually wrong. Good enough, though. But the estimate is conservative for two reasons. One, the estimate was put when my PB, which is also the world record, because no one else runs this thing. The only other run on speedrun is now 17.5 minutes slower than mine. But yeah, the estimate was made when my personal best was a lot slower than it is now. And also, the last level in this game is really trolly sometimes, and if you fail the last level, it costs you 2 minutes per failure. So, we got nice and careful with the estimates here and gave an estimate of worst case as opposed to an estimate of, expected case. Whoops. And we screwed up that level, which cost us a good minute. Yeah, that's a minute. I mildly screwed up that one. I was in a little bit of a wrong place, and so I immediately took all the damage from that bomb trap. That's the name of those weird round things that throw missiles back at you when you blow them up. But yeah, I mildly mis-executed that, so we have to start the level again. Which is okay. Like I said, marathon run, we're not expecting perfection. But that's why the estimate is what it is that things like that can happen and cost you a lot of time in this game. Yeah, we'll do it the careful way. Except not quite. That's the careful way that you can always get through. The way I tried to do it the earlier way was the actual, speed path. But so we can get through the run, I did it the careful way for once. A lot of strats have a lot of levels have multiple strats like that. So, on to this one. Main thing about this one and why it can be trolly is opening this door specifically. Those purple bots can kind of go where they want to go, and you have to kill certain, but not all, because some of them literally come out of the generators and don't matter, purple bots to open that specific blue door. We got it, and that's the trolley part of this level. So the rest of the level is pretty simple. We have another door with these yellow bots, but they're less trolley, and there's a lot less of them. And that's it for this one, pretty much. You have that kind of weird thing, especially casually, that there's enemies that can fire at you and you can't fire back at. They're trapped in there behind the green, which you can't fire through. So, this is another one with a strange and difficult boss. And it's also a moderately, hard level even before the boss. But yeah, we're getting into the point of the game where almost every level that's left is hard. Note the almost, there are a few that aren't, but not many. Mostly 43, you can screw it up, but it isn't that hard. Like the second to last level, it's a little bit of a respite as compared to, well, the rest of the game, shall we say. And yeah, there's a certain amount of like these random purple bots you see around are the key to the door we have to open. We did not get enough, so we have to go randomly kill purple bots until we've killed the right ones. Those might have been it. They were. Nice. And this is the boss. It's difficult because you have to do it with the homing missiles, and you to it as you normally would with a boss of that style, and you have all these missile turrets that you can't easily kill around it as well, but you can use the missile turrets to get big supers to kill it faster, which is nice. Casually, that boss will easily kill you. It's actually one of the hardest bosses casually, in my opinion, except for the last boss. That's probably number 2, and level 33 is number 3 for boss difficulty. This level actually has a interesting bit of speed tech, and it's got a skip, kind of like the level 11 skip, although... No, wait, not this one, that's the next one. Sorry, mixing up my levels. But yeah, this one is a difficult level, but does not have that interesting of speed tech like that. This one is more just execution and the fact that you actually have to use the homing missiles out in a big area like this, because otherwise you can't kill those laser bars, and they will kill you otherwise. Unless you use supers to sneak past them. So you have to kill pretty much just enough bots to open that door. It doesn't matter if they're ones that are generated or not, which is kind of nice. And as you see, I'm running a little low on supers, so I have to be a little careful. We're almost to the end, though. And here you can use these fire bars as a refill of both your health and your supers if you are worried. Because doing supers into fire bars, well, it gives you both health pickups and automatically fills your super meter all the way to max. This is the end boss. He takes a lot of damage, but he's not hard. He just takes a lot of damage, so you'll be here a while. Especially if he doesn't generate his missiles for you to get max supers from. So you kind of keep spamming them like that. Well, Shiner, if you want to see that, watch on my stream, which I usually do every night, and I will be doing tonight. And I use a much higher bitrate than I do here, and so it's a lot better to see, shall we say. I warned them about what this game does to bitrates. They didn't believe me, apparently. They told me, no, stream at 2000. That's what I'm doing. But I stream this game at 3 times the bitrate I normally am, like, what I am right now. So this is that bit of speed tech that I was talking about erroneously that I said was in the last level. No, it's in this level. This is that bit of speed tech right here. It's sneaking through this little wall by using that bomb that I carefully brought down to me to get through there. It's not necessarily obvious, but that's actually a real big skip and saves almost a full minute. And then, to do this safely, you have to kill these missile turrets and angle your missiles just perfectly to get in there. You can kill all but one. You can leave the last one there and sit in just the right place, which is right about there. Whoops. Getting the missiles there and falling off of my place. And for this one, your supers do not make killing this any faster because of that little aperture. This is the fastest way to kill this boss. It's slow, it takes a long time, but it's still the fastest. Yep, I am at 2000 bitrate. I usually stream at 6000. Yes, 3 times this. Because that won't bitrate your missiles to death. But yeah, I did warn them. They told me to stream it at 2000, and so I followed their instructions, even though I warned them that it was a bad idea. So this one's a pretty long one, and also has speed tech, much like the last one, that it has a pathing skip. I'll explain it when I get there. So, in this one, first of all, we have to kill almost all the purple bots that you're seeing around here to get through a door. That is not the skip. You also have to kill all these missile launchers that are right here, as well as enough of these purple bots. That might be all of them. It is enough. Good. We are through. So, once you get through the first portion, you go up this way towards the second thing you have to do, which is to break that, which opens up a bomb trail. Now, there's actually 2 bomb trails like that, but the second one is a lot harder to get to, and we skip it entirely because there's a bit of a trick. Because if you do that, the boss wakes up, and the boss will fire through that bomb trail for you. So it looks like we're just waiting here, and we kind of are, but we're waiting for the boss, who fired that, by the way, which gives us a nice big attack we can have out. Might be useful, but it looks like the boss is being slow getting to us. There he is. The missiles only track something that's on the screen with you. Right now I'm manipulating the boss to give us missiles to fire at, so we can actually kill him like that. And yes, you totally can stream it at 6,000 bit rate. That's what I do for this game. It's the only way it doesn't kill the encoders. Yeah, I have really good internet, which is actually a function of my job. I didn't buy it for streaming. I work from home and work a serious IT job where having that fast of internet is actually a useful and nearly required job thing. Anyway, so this level, I pretty much already did the speed tech, which is to force yourself through as far as you can get with that invincibility. And then just be able to do that one big attack with as much of the enemy fire as you can. Get you through that, which is the second to last level. Yeah, my internet doesn't throttle a thing. It's really nice. And yeah, I don't have quality options, so for better or worse, if you actually watch my stream, you have to deal with the fact that it's encoded at 6K. So, welcome to the last level. The last level, although fun, is not actually that difficult except for the final boss. The final boss is really trolly, because the final boss follows almost the same rules as you do, and that includes that he gets an invincibility power-up. We'll see that very shortly. So yeah, this level, you know, there's a lot of explosions happening. It's a very Bangai-O level. There's explosions everywhere. It's bonkers. You sneak through that. Use these fire bars to do big supers to get through here. Killing the bots is what you need to do to open that door. On to the next row area. There's a bomb trail we have to set off to get through. Then we have to snake our way through these with the lasers at a distance. Go through this big area, lots of more stuff to kill. The key to this is red bots that started in the level, as opposed to ones that were generated. Always use that to get a max super. It is the safest and best way to get through that. Backup health up here, which I'll pick up because I'm a little bit low. And yeah, here's the second to last crazy corridor of stuff to go through. These bots that are near here are the key, but they can move. As you see, one ended up there. Pick up the health because I'm playing a little safe. Probably wouldn't have been a run, to be honest. And then we go through here. We actually did take damage, so we will take at least one more health pickup. And there is a maximum health pickup here, which we don't take the time to get if we can avoid it, but it's there. So this is the final boss. He's really trolly. So, how you do it? So we get out both of his supers. He starts with 2, just like you do at the beginning of a level. Like I said, he follows rules very similar to you. So, we've got to try to get him down into the point where he... Whoop, we might have died there. Whoop, we did avoid it. Good. So, you have to get him into that mode in which he is invincible. Now, he has an invincibility power-up that takes about the same time yours does, which means you have to dodge him for a good long time. There's invincibility power-up's gone, but he's got a super again, so we have to draw it out before we can reply to it and kill him. And that's the game. So, that's the game, and that's it. Time is when it fades to white. So, my current world record is almost exactly 3 minutes faster than we had today, which means that except for the deaths we had, that was actually a really good pace. My world record has absolutely no deaths in it. But yeah, that was exactly, it's 3 minutes and 2 seconds slower than my world record. So if anyone is interested in the game, feel free to, and I'll play the edits, in case people want to see them and, we want to keep that live. Because I kind of wanted to actually play the ending, which is hilarious, if you can read it quick enough. But yeah, that certainly went very well for a marathon run. I hope everybody had a lot of fun, at least as much as you can, because like I said, the bit rates on this game, it goes a lot better if you stream at a high bit rate. And if you want to see that, well, meet me on my channel. I stream 6 days a week, every day that's not Friday, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern. And sometimes more than that, but those are the times I promise. Yep. Have a good night, everyone. And I hope you enjoy... I believe Diddy Kong Racing is next. But yeah, we're going to be going to outro soon, I expect. Thanks for all the GGs. Yeah, I'm not sure how I would feel about Dreamcast being really retro either. It's kind of along the edge of retro. But they said Dreamcast was valid, so I submitted it.